Hey friends, how you doing? Today's conversation is around how to strengthen your spiritual life with these 5 steps. And I'm going to start with a story. Back at university or college, I was a pastor, an ordained pastor, and I was in charge of a fellowship. I started a fellowship from my 2 bedroom apartment back at university at that time, and it grew to a 400 member church in about 3-4 years. And part of what we were doing was, it was obvious that we liked Jesus and we wanted to roll and rock with Jesus. We would go into the bush for about 8 hours just praying, just fasting, thanking God. We're devoted to God. And I also remember that I woke up with a song every morning. It was like I was always coming from heaven every morning. It didn't look like I was sleeping on earth. It was just like I was coming from heaven every morning. And it's been 20 years after I left school in 2005. So 20 years after. And yesterday, I just thought that I should share a bit of my journey and how I rock with Jesus and how I roll with Him and how all of these things work together for us. So thank you so much for showing up. I have 5 steps, 5 beautiful steps that I practice as often as possible. And I take my time to write these steps, so that all of us are going to try. Let me know when this works, because it's not a matter of does this work or if this works. It does work. I've been doing this since I gave my life to Christ at the age of 19. So the first thing I'm going to say is have conversations with God. And when I say have conversations with God, it's just not about prayer. Prayer is one of the conversations with God, but have conversations with God. Tell God anything. Roll with God. Let God be your battle buddy, because life is a battle and you are in a battle. So let God be your battle buddy. Have conversations with God. Tell Him about anything, from your finances to your emotions to your pain to your joy. Like, have conversations with God. Don't let your conversations with God be transactional. Don't let it be like, oh, you're always there for a miracle, always there to collect. Like, God is not a cougar. He's not a sugar daddy. Like, do you understand? Have conversations with God. Tell Him anything. If you're single, let God know everything about your singlehood. If you're married, let Him know everything about your marriage, everything about your parenting, everything about your life. There's nothing you cannot tell God. He's not going to screenshot it. He's not going to gossip about it. He's not going to tell anybody else. Like, God is your guy. Have conversations with God. Gist about life, about everything with God. That's what I do. There's nothing I can't tell God. I like Him, I roll with Him, I rock with Him. There's absolutely nothing. When I'm driving, I hardly listen to music because I'm talking to God. We're just chatting. Have beautiful conversations with God, and you will be surprised at how wholesome your life is going to be. Like, every part of me, God is involved, and I'm filled, and I like it, and I enjoy it. The second thing is take pleasure in listening to Him. Don't just dump your stuff and run away or move away or just pray, 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 pray like you're shouting or you're trying to change the mind of a stubborn father or a stubborn God and disappear. No, listen to Him. I like listening to His word. Sometimes I'm at work and I just go to YouTube, audio Bible, and I'm playing the book of John all through. And as the Bible is playing, I'm telling God, talk to me about your word. Talk to me about your word. And He begins to open my eyes of understanding. So take pleasure in listening to Him, take pleasure in reading His word, and then take pleasure in asking Him about how to apply and execute. If you want to be richer, go to the Bible. Like, the world is going to help us. There are strategies, there are principles in the world, but the Bible is the beginning of the world. You want to be richer? Ask God, why am I poor? What am I doing that is affecting my life? And it's going to begin to show you your belief systems. It's going to begin to show you your level of discipline, level of diligence, what you're supposed to do better and stuff. And that's how God opens your eyes of understanding, because sometimes we're not showing up like we should show up. Sometimes we're not presenting ourselves like we should. Sometimes we're not, as diligent as we think that we are. So ask God to help you apply and to help you strategize, on what you're hearing Him say about friendships, relationships, everything about Him. The third thing I want to talk about is develop an intimate relationship with gratitude. A good number of people on earth have developed an intimate relationship with complaint. But today, I want you to start developing an intimate relationship with gratitude. Like you've complained enough. We know what's going on in your country. We know inflation rate. We know the poverty rate. We know that japa rate. We know japa is not even tied to poverty actually. We know all of those complaints and stuff. We have heard those things before. But today I want you to begin to start your life, like take pleasure in being grateful. Take pleasure in being grateful. Yorubas will say, Entoba dupe ore ano, ari migba. Do you understand? If you can say thank you for something and it is from the bottom of your heart, there's a tendency that you will get something else. So take pleasure in being grateful and developing a heart of gratitude. Have an intimate relationship. If you need to have a journal on your phone or a writing pad, do something, but have an intimate relationship with gratitude. Number 4 is create a prayer board. I started that a while ago. People have vision boards, fantastic. I have a vision board and I have a prayer board. A prayer board is where everything I want from God, I document there so that when my prayers are answered, I go back there to say done. And it takes me back to my intimate relationship with gratitude. Let me tell you something, whether God blesses you or not, He's a good God. Whether He heals you or not, He's a healer. Whether He provides or not for you, He's a provider. Do you understand? So who God is not contingent on what He does. God is God. And your prayer board is supposed to keep you on track. Prayers for your business, prayers for your relationships, prayers for your children, prayers for your health, prayers for your exams, whatever the prayer is about. I have a prayer board. It's right on my phone so that I see Him and see it as often as possible. And once these things are done, it just reminds me. There was a time I was praying to be a US citizen. It's done. There was a time I was praying for contract. It's done. Like it just praying for health, praying to love and like Jesus more. All of these things, like this conversation with you is a prayer answered, because there was a time I was saying to God, burden me with what burdens you. And He began to send me to have conversations about Him. The final point that I'm going to make is like God enough to obey Him. Sometimes we obey God out of fear. Sometimes we obey Him out of, don't let Him punish us. We avoid sin because we don't want to be punished. No. I don't sin because I like Jesus. Like God enough to obey Him. There are things that I do, not out of fear or out of whatever. I do those things because I like Him. Do you understand? Because I like Him. So let me know how these things work for you. Please comment, please share, retweet, do all of these things. I want us to build an army of people who genuinely like Jesus, want to rock with Him, want to roll with Him. Just good professionals, solid professionals who really want to rock with Jesus. So please comment, subscribe. I will serve you another dish very soon. And thank you for always showing up for me because I like you.